Good morning to all. My name is Priyanka Mahanta. Here I am going to present a topic financial inclusion, and this video presentation is basically for a purpose of assignment as I am a research scholar in Mizoram Central University. So let's start the presentation. So the content of this presentation are introduction, what does financial inclusion mean, why is financial inclusion important, its background, objectives, step taken by government and RBI for financial inclusion, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, and lastly the conclusion. So let's start from the introduction. How financial inclusion is defined by RBI. So here we will firstly define the financial inclusion according to RBI. So according to RBI, financial inclusion is the process of ensuring access to appropriate financial products and services included by all sections of the society in general and vulnerable groups such as weaker section and low income groups, in particular at an affordable cost in a fair and transparent manner by mainstream institutional player. So next we will look what does financial inclusion actually mean. So basically it is a process of making financial services in a more affordable and accessible manner to all the person. That is to bring in all the people of the society, whether from low income group or from the weaker section, into the circle of finance so that they can provide them all the financial services. It aims at addressing and bringing solution to the issues that exclude people from participating in the financial circle. And there are some of the goals of financial inclusion, like they try to access or they try to provide services to all the households at a reasonable price, and also they try to regulate the performance standard of the institutions like the banking institutions, and also they try to provide financial and institutional sustainability. So next is, why is financial inclusion important? Like financial inclusion is very important for a country like India. So why is it important? So it is important for development. Like when the people will get greater access to financial services, the savings will increase. When the savings increases, there will be a decrease in income inequality and poverty, and it will also increase the employment level. So there will be an overall development of the nation altogether. The next is the growth. It will try to encourage this habit to save, and thus it will help for capital formation in the economy, and it will boost the economy, and also the availability of sufficient and transparent credit from formal banking institution will promote the entrepreneurial spirit of the people. So growth of the nation. So it is very important for any nation or any society, that development and growth, so that they can grow better or so that they can develop better. And as for country like India in a developing situation, financial inclusion is very much important in this growing phase. And also like service delivery, like direct cash transfer to banking beneficiary account rather than physical cash payment, or the bank efficiency, like banks will which are operating in a financial inclusion sector could experience higher operating efficiency in financial intermediation. And also financial inclusion is a major step towards inclusive growth. As I already told that growth and development, these are the main points why it is important or why financial inclusion is important. So now the background, like from where the financial inclusion topic emerged. So the Reserve Bank of India first set up the Khan Commission in 2004 to look into financial inclusion. In India, financial inclusion was first featured in 2005 when it was introduced by K.C. Chakrabarty, the chairman of Indian Bank. Here, The Mangalam was the first village in India where all households were provided banking facilities. In January 2006, the Reserve Bank permitted commercial banks to make use of the services of non-governmental organizations such as NGOs and self-help groups, microfinance institutions, and other organizations to provide financial and banking services. So this is the background from where the financial inclusion term has emerged. Some of the objectives of financial inclusion, like what they focuses more, what is the goal of financial inclusion? So first is a basic no-frill banking account for making and receiving payment. The second is the saving products, including investment and pension. The third is simple credit products and bank overdraft linked with no-frill account. Then remittance or money transfer facilities, microfinance or non-microfinance, and last is micro pension. So these are the objectives of financial inclusion. These are the main terms where the financial inclusion tries to overcome, or these are the objectives they will try to achieve through financial inclusion. So all the banking institutions, all the commercial institutions which are providing financial services will try to achieve or try to uh, gain these main objectives of financial inclusion. Next is some of the steps taken by RBI and government. So first is there are many varieties of initiatives through which financial inclusion can be achieved in India. There are some initiatives taken by financial regulators, government, and banking officials in India. So they are, first is no frill accounts, the second is basic saving bank deposit account, the third is lead banking schemes, the fourth is Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, and the last one business correspondence system. But from all of this, the main initiative that has been taken by the government is the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. So we will go one by one. The first is no frill account. So what does no frill account mean? So this is basic banking account where we can keep a minimum balance of zero, which is also known as the zero balance account, as a very low balance. The next is basic saving bank deposit account. So this account does not have the facility of minimum bank balance as in a no frill account. In this account, there are many services availed by the banks. Also, these services include deposit and withdrawals of cash at the bank branch. This can also be done at the respective ATM of the bank. Furthermore, receipt and credit of money through electronic payment or by the means of check. There is also a facility of ATM card or ATM cum debit card. So these are the facilities in this basic saving bank deposit account. So it is just a saving account like the normal saving account where one can deposit their extra income or the surplus income. But there is no such facility like no frill account. The next is the lead banking scheme. In this scheme, it envisages the lead role of an individual bank. This includes private bank as well as public bank. So it is with respect to the district allotted to them. Here the lead bank as they act as a point of contact. It is for coordinating with the credit institution which perform towards district. This leading banking scheme is like here the lead bank acts as a point of contact and all the other financial institutions in that particular district have to contact with the lead bank for providing any credit services to the people. The next is Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Here the main slogan of this scheme is Mera Khata Bhagya Vidhata. This means that my bank account is my God. Also, this scheme provides many benefits. We will talk later on that. So last is a business correspondent system. So these are the bank representatives that individually go to the areas that are allowed to them. Here they have to carry out the banking task. This individual will help villager to open their bank account and perform regular transaction. Next here, now we are going to study in detail about the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. So, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana is a national mission for financial inclusion to ensure access to financial services, namely a basic saving and deposit account, remittance, credit, insurance, pension in an affordable manner. Under the scheme, a basic saving bank deposit account can be opened in any bank branch or business correspondent outlet by persons not having any other account. So, as we already discussed, that why is Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana so important? Because it tries to ensure all the or provide all the financial services like saving or deposit or remittance, credit, pension, everything to all the persons in the society in an affordable manner and is in a easy manner so that they can get it easily without any problem. So some of the benefits of Jan Dhan Yojana we will discuss. The first is no minimum bank balance required under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. So most of the saving bank account today require a minimum balance to be maintained. Like whenever we go to a bank to open a saving account, they says that something like that 5,000 is the minimum balance that we have to maintain in our bank. It's an example. But in Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, there is no such limitations or there is no such requirement. So they can maintain a zero balance account also. And even government owned banks have these norms, and the balance requirement is higher in the case of private sector bank. In case of account opened through Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, there is no need to maintain a minimum balance. So the next is Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan life insurance cover up to 30,000. So though for many individuals this might not be a big sum like 30,000, but it could certainly be a kind of solace for the poor class, like for the weaker section of the society. The 30,000 can be like a God gifted for them, like it can do many things for them. Okay, like even if 30,000 doesn't mean much to the higher income group. The next is a direct transfer of subsidies and other benefits. So here, who receives benefits under various government schemes like LPG subsidies or any other subsidies, and other can now receive the amount directly in their Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana account, and it is very beneficial also for them. So and also it is very transparent. The next is easy transfer of money. So there is a easy transfer of money under Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. It is also possible to transfer money. It is a big advantage especially for the poor classes of the people. The last is the overdraft facility. So what does overdraft means? Like the account would also own an overdraft facility. This would provide access to capital when in need of emergency. Like there is a minimum amount of 5,000, but we can withdraw more than 5,000, that is overdraft. So however, this would be available only after 6 months of successful operation. The last is the conclusion part. So conclusion, like why is financial inclusion important and why it is to be needed to be done by the government, and why it is important for all the people to get into the circle of the financial circle. By bringing more and more customers to the bank, it increases the business of the bank. but not only increases the business of the bank but also the economy, or we can say the development, the growth of the nation altogether goes up. This also helps to improve the standard of living of majority of the people. It bridges the gap between the rural people and the urban people. Here, all the people can avail the banking facilities and they can make use of it. They can transform their life, they can live a better life. Furthermore, it boosts the business of the bank and enhance the number of bankable customers. Lastly, thank you.